path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Welcome everybody. From this time, we start a series of serious discussions between the most intelligent people in this industry, especially in the QA DevOps space. Our combined IQ exceeds that of a housefly, and that gives us the privilege and the power to deliver judgments on anyone, anything, any technology, and any process. So when we are thinking about what should be the first topic that we should take up for discussion, all three of us agreed that it should be something worthwhile. And what has happened very recently in our industry is a book came like a storm and it blew everything off the path. A book which comes once in a lifetime. A book which has changed the paradigm in the industry. A book everybody is raving and ranting about. A book that we hope never comes again. The Last Book on Testing by none other than Sri Rahul Verma, who is probably the most pretentious prick in this industry, who believes that he is God's gift to mankind. If you look at the achievements of the book, I think it has sold nearly 9 copies, out of which 3 were purchased by 3 of us, and the remaining were pushed on to people. It has been nominated for the Booker Prize for this year under the category of serious literature. There are considerations to consider this for the Nobel Prize in Literature. And of course, many other awards and brickbats await Rahul. It will be my special privilege and Ramit's special privilege to speak about this book. Because when Rahul was inseminated by the sperm of this idea, it was me and Ramit who acted as midwives. And till the delivery of this book, we had to bear that torture. So it gives us that right, since Rahul has literally mothered us and battered us with all his book reviews, etc. It gives us exclusive privilege to do the same back to Rahul. Okay, Ramit, your ideas on this?
Namaskar, everyone. Thank you, JP. Before I start talking about the book, let me talk about Rahul just a little. If you read this book, you will find that Rahul's brain is probably 10 years ahead of this time, today's time. Unfortunately, he writes like it's already 30 years ahead. So, for you guys, never ask him a yes no question. Because if you ask a simple question which has an answer like a yes or a no, should I go, should I not go, his answer will trigger a 404, followed by a 2000 word essay on why yes and no are way beyond the Boolean construct that you identify them as. So he's a genius. Okay, ask him. And if you ask him, you will find 14 LinkedIn posts. And if that is not enough, it will follow up with a book that nobody is going to read. So gives me a lot of privilege. Oh, I have read it. I had to, if a gun is on your head, what else is the choice that you have? So I've read the book. It's a wonderful book. And if you are, living a comfortable life, I think you should get out of that comfort zone, as the most learned people say, and read the book, and you will know more about the book, isn't it?
Yeah, there are 3 categories of people who I would recommend this book to. People who are not married because they're enjoying their lives, and why should they have all the fun? Next, people who are married, they're already undergoing some torture another torture is not going to do much to him. And people who are dead. These are the three categories of people who should be reading this book. Rahul, before we come to the book, the contents of the book, we want to ask you a very honest question.
Please go
See,
ahead.
the industry has given you enough opportunities to say whatever you wanted. We out of necessity and out of feeling of pity for you, we gave you different keynote exercises. We read your LinkedIn post. We even react to your LinkedIn post. Then why this book? Wasn't that enough?
So the thing is that every time I write something, somebody out there is complaining. What about the other side, right? So I thought that in one place all the information should exist, and nobody should complain why I wasn't roasted. So this book picks up all the aspects. It doesn't disappoint anybody, and it does equal proportion to
It
everybody.
doesn't disappoint anybody. Means, is anybody a person who is not disappointed? Is that somebody whom you know very closely? Is that your definition of anybody? Yeah.
Let's keep it that way.
Let's. Okay. Go ahead. So,
Rahul is a beta version of a mind-blowing concept. Not stable, full of cryptic messages, and definitely not for the production use. Okay, go ahead, Rahul.
Yeah.
so probably he is an MVP that should have never come to this world.
Yes, I totally agree.
And this book was probably a bug fix that has pained everybody around,
Never got fixed.
which never got fixed.
Which never got fixed.
But see, let me tell you something. I'm here to promote the book. Okay.
Okay.
You have been shamelessly doing over LinkedIn for the past 2 months, and nobody cares
Doing
a damn.
That's me doing it because nobody else would do. So I'm here to promote the book, and so far, I'm not comfortable.
You're not comfortable with
I
what? You're
actually
not comfortable with what? See, I spent 599 on this goddamn thing. Who is going to pay me back my time, my money, and the loss of peace of mind? So the nation should answer. Somebody in the nation should answer.
Yeah. That's that.
Isn't it, Ramit? How much time? If it was billable hours, I would have built a mansion in New York City by now.
You are asking Rahul a question. You will never get a straight answer. You are giving him more material to write in other, LinkedIn post, and he might say by the end of this podcast that I already am writing another book.
So I think
Don't even trigger that.
So I think that's a promise that we have to get from him towards the end of this podcast. That if 10 more people,
Writing another.
if 10 more people buy this book, he'll never attempt to write another. But then coming back to it, so you say you wanted to bring everything together into one book, isn't it? Or you wanted to speak the other side. Was that your intention?
So I just look at the world equally. So if you are feeling bad that I roasted you, and you ask me why didn't you roast the other side, I go ahead and roast the other side. So equal distribution. So people were complaining, why am I left out? Why is he left out? Why is she left out? Why are they left out? So here's the book.
I understand you. It's almost like Gandhi's vision of how the
Yeah.
world should be. An eye for an eye would make the whole world blind. And after reading this book, I actually prayed that why don't I turn blind? But saying that,
There's a Braille version coming up, so you
Pardon me?
won't be left out. There's a version of Braille also coming out, so I won't leave blind people also.
okay. So even the disabled or the differently abled won't be left out of your
But we have
verbal
to.
diarrhea as well as LinkedIn diarrhea that happens on a weekly basis, and these days it's on a daily basis. I understand that. So Ramit, can we get into this book?
Yes, I wanted to ask, JP, you a question because Rahul is the author, he has the author's privilege, or I don't know, ChatGPT has the author's privilege. We will talk about that later. But see this page, the first page.
Yeah.
Yeah. JP, what are your thoughts? I have so many thoughts here. Plus, I have a stomach ache as well, but that's on another side. What are your thoughts on this?
So Rahul starts with a very beautiful statement here. To my childhood, at a time where words were free of pretense, I would call a fart, and everybody laughed. He thought after reading this book, a lot of people are going to laugh. So let me start by calling a fart here. Okay. Some other souls also have spent their money on buying this book. So if you want to really call a fart, I think this book has farted pretty well. If you,
Hey, we should read this. Very disappointing to the hype it created. Worst case, I can't even return the book in Amazon, rupees 399 for this seriously.
and no, you should not read it that way. Rupees 399 for this book? Seriously? It's the desperation of that person that showing up in that comment.
Now, how lucky is the guy? We bloody two jokers here. We spent 599 and we got a hard, cover. My friend, whoever has written this review, I fully empathize with you. We need to create a donation campaign for getting our money back from people, whoever have spent money on this book. read the other one. That looks very interesting.
I am disappointed in the content. I am actually disappointed in this comment. Disappointed in the content in terms of where is the content out there? There is no content. I'm disappointed in the content. It's like someone did ChatGPT and just left the book to get published. That part was honest.
Awesome. It was awesome, actually.
I think that that is this
one thing that I noticed is,
and I want.
Oh yes, this one is also nice.
This is very nice. Hands down, the worst book I've read till date.
It triggered you in the sense, what was your feeling when you read this? Because these seems to be very honest, not the comments that you paid for, but these comments look to be very honest. So, what was your feeling reading them?
Of course, frustration. Because this guy gave 2 rating. So if you don't like something and it's the worst thing you have read in your life, why 2 out of 5? Your rating system is bad.
Everybody is not as bad as you, Rahul. So there are good people around. They don't like to give 1 star to everything. They still have the humanity and dignity in them. They said 2 stars are still enough. But you are not able to buy this guy, isn't it? Despite your best of the efforts.
Yeah. And to paraphrase Rahul, this guy didn't call a fart, but if you remember 3 Idiots movie, in that there is a speech that that person gives where the fart is poetically put across in Sanskrit. So he has tried to put it that way. That's why you're getting your 2 stars. So he's not calling it. The author wrote the book.
Amazing thing that you said, about Sanskrit. These days, Sanskrit is, you say anything in Sanskrit, it becomes a shloka. Tvam kutra gacchami, aham grahanam gacchami. Even if this becomes a shloka, without people realizing that I just asked the question, where are you going? And I'm going my home. Even this has become a shloka, and Rahul has used that to full opportunity here, and nobody is going to ask a question. Write anything and everything in Sanskrit and say it's the God has himself or herself came down and told me this in my sleep, as if it's the new commandments that people are going to follow. Write anything in Sanskrit and it will sell. People will be like, oh, this guy knows a lot.
I'm going to come to some of the Sanskrit shlokas that he has used, and I too have a shloka for him, but that's in. But then I like this comment further. Author wrote the book and missed adding any logic anywhere. I mean, you expected logic from Rahul. So, so there are people who think good about you, Rahul, probably who are not paid by you, and he actually expected something out of it. So we called a fart, and Ramit, to answer your question, this is what I thought about when I read this. I'm sure you have your own comments on
No, I don't have any comments. I was reading the line next to fart. Back then, it only took innocence, and now for these farts, we need a lot of what we call essence. Otherwise, a fart actually is a fart, and it is, the more experience you have, the more fart. It's more farty actually. I don't know if I'm meaning any sense or not, but then I'm talking about Rahul's book. Why sense is even
it.
here.
Then sense would rank very low in the criteria of things required to go through this book. They say what's not common in this world is common sense. And whoever decided to publish this book, spending so much money, I can see that. Why do they say that what is not common is common sense?
I- One of the things Rahul has said right through this marketing campaign, which bombed actually, given that we are still not in the double figures about selling the book. Uh, Read cover to cover. So this guy doesn't leave any choice. He makes sure that the person puts a rope on the fan, hangs by it, and keeps hanging there for 5 6 days, so that there is no chance of this person surviving. Read cover to cover. Read cover to cover. Even when the book was in its draft stage, Rahul had the audacity to tell me, Ramit, will you read the book and then also read cover to cover?
See, this is a typical clickbait strategy. You see these reels, etc.
In
Wait
this
for the end. Wait for the end. Something is going to change, and you are in the constant hope something is coming. अरे कुछ तो आएगा, कुछ तो आएगा, कुछ तो आएगा.
the mistake on my part to say this. I eventually realized because some people only read the covers and gave the review.
My problem is that he already knows I am already quite confused person. I'm married from the last 17 18 years, and then this guy comes up with and says, you should read this cover to cover. I'm already finishing one book that my parents have put on me. Okay. But even if I read this cover to cover and I was, reading the acknowledgements, this guy has very beautifully said acknowledgement part. If you look at this A, B, C, D, E, F, now I'm going to use it at least for my kid who is 5 years old. And I'm going to say, here you go, son. This is A, B, C, D, E that your school is, taking 1.5 lakh rupees every year from me for, teaching you this. This could have been done in 599. That's the only good part that this book has. I'm going to use it for my kid, and we will do the revision of ABCD. I think if the page numbers would have gone properly, we should have also used it for 1 to 3, but then there are certain page numbers missing. So my kid will get confused the way Rahul is. And I don't want my kid to be confused at his age, saying that I started with the book. For example, here is 12, but there is no 13, and then straight away there is no 14, and there is no 15, and suddenly 16 comes in. I don't want him to count like this: 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18. No, no, no. Thank you very much. ABCD is enough.
So, Ramit, I was speaking about Rahul being confused himself and trying to confuse others. So, I want to share something from his shameless promotional campaign. Here is the bio of Rahul. Rahul is a consultant, coach, lifelong student of testing. I can agree to all of that. He says he is soft with poetry and has a spiritual streak. Rahul, do you think having spirits for drinks is regarded as spiritual, or were you haunted by some spirits? What
No,
is this?
he had gone for a Jakarta to Thailand recently.
Won't that count?
Yeah, yeah. Thai tourism's tagline itself is "Come visit us and have a bang of a spiritual time."
He did a Sai Sandhya followed by a Jagrata. Was it in Phuket or in Bangkok? I don't remember. One of the places.
They
You know,
both offer spirituality to the same extent, and I've been spiritual throughout my life.
We have seen streaks of that. Okay, so we can understand what do you mean by spiritual streak. Now, three, four bottles down the line, and we have seen your spiritual streak quite a bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we understand that.
Yep.
And he approaches life with a curiosity that is often mistaken for mischief. I can understand that ChatGPT writing this for you, but you putting it on, what does that statement even mean? Please explain that to me. He approaches life with a curiosity often mistaken for mischief. You can ask ChatGPT and get back. That's okay.
That's thinking it would take a minute while I open another tab.
So now let's come to the book. Okay. Ramit, would you want to go first? There are a lot of things to be discussed here. But before that, I want to discuss one of the forewords that is written by Pepe, or Jose, as he's lovingly called as. Other way around. So he says, let's just say he has interpreted advice as suggestions for potential disaster scenarios. I think this kind of is better than your spiritual streak and curiosity nonsense out there. This should be a tagline of your biodata, which says that I don't take advice because anything good that's said to me, I usually regard them as potential disaster scenarios. Would you agree to this assessment of Pepe?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
No, do you agree to this assessment of Pepe?
See, there is a saying that whatever you're good at, never sell it for free. So this forward is one of the best things in this book. So why give it for free? So people should buy the book and read it.
Oh, okay. You are on that sales mode. Okay, Ramit.
I'm trying to promote the book.
I think the next book should be The Art of Shameless Self-Promotion.
Maybe add the prefix, the last book on self-promotion.
Last book on self-promotion.
I still think that Pepe has done justice to I'll still call him Jose, given that he doesn't knows me personally. Thank God for that. One Rahul is enough in his life. But I think how much muska you did to your boss for this? Tell me seriously. How many days of continuous muska?
See, I gave him an offer that if you write this forward, I would not present an ATD next year. So he took it.
I think you saved his life, basically. I can understand.
Give and take.
It was a trade-off. It was a trade-off with his life.
So that's okay. But what you did with Vipul, how you convinced Vipul?
It was easy. So he didn't want this book to be published. So I told him, I've already signed the contract, so that's off the chart. That's not an offer. So the only thing I can offer is that you write a forward and try to stop people from reading it, and I'll make that forward public. So, that's all he did. Yeah.
He was not able to convince you about, that you should not go ahead with, publishing the book.
I've spent 80,000 on publishing the book.
Who asked you?
I think you could have bought poison for cheaper, right? 30-40 bucks. You'll get rat poison.
Even for the 9 people who have purchased this book.
Oh, I spent 80,000 on doing that.
I think he's convinced that he's got the idea now about crowdfunding and he's going to get his 80,000 back.
His next pitch will be, give me 80,000 in crowdfunding and I'll not publish the book.
Ambani's driver spent more money during Anand's wedding. Okay, 80,000 rupees.
The idea of poison really crossed my mind. Right here, it says, congratulations, you found your poison. So if those 9 people are buying it after reading the statement, they're on their own.
No, we don't usually start from the back of the book. We generally, normal people start from the front. So we didn't start from the back, else we would have stopped then and there.
My background is in Urdu poetry, so.
You want people to start from here and go
Yeah.
That might be a good idea.
At the
This
end.
book actually might make sense if you try to read backwards.
Yeah.
There might be something cryptic encoded.
Yeah.
See, you smell shit from right or you smell shit from left. Shit smells shit. So don't tell me it will be more cryptic if you start from the end or you start from the front. I don't think so.
I'm just giving one more
Ramit.
offense for Rahul. Next time, somebody puts in a bad comment, then he can always put it on LinkedIn next time. No, that's because you read it the wrong way. You should have read it the other way.
Actually, I wanted to say shit. If you read it other way, it was, the sound. That's all. But Rahul, I have one more very serious question. Why I'm asking these serious questions to you? What's so serious about you? Another
Drop,
question. Okay,
drop the
drop
mask.
the serious
What
part.
is happening here? So drop the mask of serious questions. Let's
Serious. I, I want to ask you, who gave you this idea about writing this book in 3 khand? And what is that achar khand? What is that? I cannot even read it. This is the first. Who gave you the idea of naming these khand? And I remember you said 1 year back that I'm going to write a book which will be open for international audience. Thank God international audience is not buying it.
Yeah.
But who gave you this idea of writing these 3 khand? This is jokes apart.
Yeah.
Why 3? Why not 4? Why not 2? Why not 7? Why
Why
3?
not none?
Why not none? Yes, of course. We all could have been saved. Why 3? And why these khand? What was the idea?
No, on a serious note, I have a love for the number three. Yeah. So three sounds, odd number sounds good. Three righties, it's when we decide something, it's three. And so the book is in a loop. So we had enough fun so far. So let me promote the book. So this book runs in a loop. Yeah, and the loop is in right in the title of this book. Uh,
Yeah. I'm listening to you. It's a loop. It's a loop. I understand.
Okay, it's a loop. It's a loop. It's a loop. Go ahead. Go ahead. We'll not cut it. No. I'm showing you the loop. See.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a loop, and
So the three part structure completes the loop. So Chandler is the meat part, and the first the way the book starts, the final completes it or makes it incomplete in a way. So that's the structure of the book.
so it's an incomplete loop, is it?
Yeah,
How can a loop be incomplete?
that's why the snake's tail is not in snake's mouth.
But then you created a hollow sort of thing around the snake because artistically it would not have looked okay. So you wanted to give this snake. By the way, which snake is this?
A rattlesnake or a
I created a snake, but I'm still thinking of whether it is a snake or not, and which snake is this?
Actually, it looks like a lizard who's got mutated somewhere. Okay, so the loop doesn't end with
To answer this, tell me. You could have simply remained shut when I asked you this question that which kind of snake is this, and you could have simply ignored this question the way you ignored the intelligence of all the people reading this book.
good idea.
But anyways, you must answer. So I understand now that is a complete incomplete loop. Uh, you wanted to promote this book, or you want to confuse people even more?
Confusion.
Reader,
Confusion.
but is the loop complete or incomplete? At least in your mind.
Of course, it is incomplete. How many hints do you need? Beyond that, there would be spoilers.
He is going to write another book.
he's going to complete this loop the other way around, and this time it'll be a frog, not a snake. So snake can keep the frog alive.
He will complete the food chain. He will start with a cockroach, going to a frog, frog to a snake, snake to eagle, and so on and so forth. Okay. But JP, I have this question for you. I thought that, it will be great if you can introduce people with, the first khand or Aadhaar khand. Aadhaar, is that how you want me to pronounce it?
Aadhaar card.
That will take 100 rupees extra. You know my UPI. Aadhaar khand. JP, you want to introduce our listeners to Aadhaar khand?
Okay, so Aadhaar Kand is something, it's supposed to mean foundation, but all of us have Aadhaar cards. And have you seen the photographs that come on those cards? It has no relation to the actual person. So this Khand is also like that. The name of the Khand and what is there in this Khand have no relation to each other. I don't see a foundation, top, bottom, any of those things. But before I go into this Aadhaar Khand, there is a prologue, and as with fashion these days, there is a lot of Sanskrit slokas.
Oh, nice. Yes, yes, yes. Of
And
course.
this is not a sloka found in any text. I'm sure none of our masters, learned people would make a mistake of writing something so stupid as a sloka.
Well, something like this. I will just show it a
Yeah.
little.
So I'll read it out. Sarvadoshaha parashveva jnanam sarveshu tat
That's
tat
Mritam.
tat smritam evam dharma parikshaya pashyam laghavam punaha. Now, Rahul claims the answer or the meaning of this is all faults as known are others' load. All wisdom, of course, is our own. This rule of thumb will guide us through the testing light we have always known. I'm sorry, Rahul. There's nothing. The English translation and the Sanskrit words have no relation to each other. Actually, I have. Like, there is another sloka you could have kept here, which actually is from a text. And that sloka says, Eko aham dvitiyo nasti, na bhuto na bhavishyati. Only I exist. Dvitiyo nasti, nobody else is there. Na bhuto na bhavishyati, na past, na future. I am the only one. That could have suited here best.
Yeah. So in
So coming to this book within a book within a book within a book, I don't know when this loop ends, you come to something called Aadhaar Khand. But interestingly, Rahul says the snake's tail doesn't go into the mouth, and this is where he goes wrong.
And we have crossed 25 pages in.
and and you, and you disprove yourself in the very first chapter.
when
Was it
look
an oversight,
picture,
Rahul?
the tail is out, and now you need to think from where did it come out.
So when you eat, Rahul, you eat something, if there is an input to a body, there will be an output to a body.
Yeah.
Tail is the output now.
Yeah.
The same output that I am getting after getting this book, reading it, and getting all the input. But anyway,
So this Khand, when I both me and Ramit had to undergo multiple rounds of review, and after that I had to get admitted in the ICU also doing this review. And at that point of time, the question we asked Rahul multiple times is why this Khand? And Rahul was no. This is the basis on which the entire story is being built. And then he starts with concepts that he has no idea about. For example, there is a statement made here. Before anything, there was nothing. Not the fancy kind of nothing that poets romanticize, nor the Zen like emptiness monks try to attain. Can you please explain to me what is this Zen like emptiness? What is Zen for it? Since you have made the statement.
So emptiness is at the core of philosophy. Yeah. Because when everything fades away, what remains is nothingness, right? And in Urdu we say khala or vacuum, right? So I don't know. This idea is close to my heart that I even in this context, I get serious about it.
so
Yeah.
very good answer. It's an answer which reminds me of a guy. When you ask that guy a question, he's a philosopher, and he will go like this. You know, our body needs to be aligned with the universal forces. And when we align our body with the universe, everything gets aligned properly. Sounds absolutely amazing, but nobody knows how to do it. That is how Rahul is saying kala and emptiness.
Or there is another guy I've heard. The me who is within me is different from the me that is there in me. So that me and this me are the different me which is not making the me.
Exactly. And this emptiness you're talking about is in the book actually. Empty.
This is ritual.
It's,
Okay, go ahead. No. But this was a very nice answer. I really liked it. At least
I
something
understand.
coming meaningful, out of this. Otherwise, people will say, what are these three guys talking about? No, some people who might be looking at, a psychologist in their life might attempt to, talk to you and get some clarity about the nothingness. You
It's
know,
good to read this book on empty stomach. So that was
I I actually like if since JP you have talked about this page, the next page says the white pride pentaperazole. Yeah, things that you need to keep to the void if void is burping a lot. Will white burp? What kind of nothingness is this where a void will burp? What do you mean by void burp? Was it the void that burped or was it you that burped and you said, oh, what a nice idea. I'll put it in my book now.
So, Rahul, I think you should seriously explain to us this whole concept of Aadhaar card and why this is so important.
oh, well, really seriously.
We don't joke around. We're not known for that.
So the book is not on testing. So I really didn't want to write a book on testing.
A book is not on anything. Continue.
So I wanted some symbolism. I wanted to write a book on creation versus critique. And then during the writing, I found that it's an eternal theme. So that's why the book span ranges, for billions of years. So it starts right from the beginning, and in that I try to create humor. So,
So why is the critic a woman here? Is this a statement that you're making against women?
pardon?
Why is the critic a female character here? Is this a statement that you're making against women that they are continuously critiquing others?
No, this is purely for gender balance in writing.
Oh, it's for gender balance. So then the creator could have been women, right?
That doesn't work when we look at things. Women have better sense of critique. They're good at it. They have better sense of colors.
So
Hold on. What was the joke here? Now, this has happened many times with you in the last 10 years. You make a statement,
Yeah.
you think about it as a joke, you laugh,
and then you write a book about it also.
and you write a book about it.
Now consider the alternative, okay? Consider the alternative. There's a joke which I crack. Nobody laughs at that joke. Even I don't. And then I write a book on it. Would that be better?
That would be catastrophic
It's
to
called
power.
as book on testing.
I laugh at all the jokes. So it's still a better deal.
When you were reading your draft again, then you laughed at the jokes, isn't it? Not during the time when you were writing them.
Yeah, writing was painful. Yeah.
And you want us to understand all the jokes reading it for the first time.
No. Would work.
There's a very funny, chapter that Rahul has written in this Aadhaar Khand. I'll tell you about. Oh, the first chapter itself, the cosmic sneeze. First of all, tell me how many prompts you used in ChatGPT to get these names.
Specifically for this, I don't know, because there's AI content and other people are also reaching out to me, and I'm presenting on this at ATD self promotion.
Okay.
So I'm becoming shameless about it. So I have overall spent 200 hours of prompting for the creation. which is one third of the time. So I spend 400 hours apart from that, but it's really detailed prompting. Yeah.
Where do you work that you get so much of time to spend on such useless pursuits?
To tell the truth, I took a vacation.
Okay, makes a lot of sense.
And, this goes to unpredictable. This is ChatGPT. This is
Okay.
Everybody knows that. This entire book is ChatGPT except your name. You don't have to say this.
use AI and then take the credit for its content. I was sure that I'm not going to hide it. So I gave it a co-author status. So any of the jokes around ChatGPT and AI don't hurt me. You're just giving credibility to the book.
Oh.
Yeah.
But on a very serious note, there is one character in this chapter who should have been the main character of this entire book, and that character is Blob.
Yeah.
Okay, uh, Blob should have been the hero of this story,
I agree.
but Blob just came and Irfan Khan cameo in a movie, or Amitabh Bachchan cameo in a movie, comes in, creates a bang, and then you have not used that character so strongly in the other parts of the book.
No, the blob just changes its name. In the first country, it's the blob.
Character's arc is completed. Why didn't you completed the book right there? Why we had to go through another 200? It would have been a beautiful end. So,
Right. So, because I obviously understand your intellectual limitations, so let me explain.
I know it. Yeah.
The story of the blob is told 3 times in this book.
Oh.
You, right? So the first time it's the blob, in the second count it's Mira, and in the third count it's me.
Oh.
That's the story.
So
If
you want to put yourself. Yeah, I know. You want to put yourself.
and the philosophy, so you should have the intellectual capability to assess what the front end. In
So
front
now questioning your leader's intellectual capacity. Nice. Very nice.
That's how it works.
Actually, the confusion and clarity is very evident when you finish this first chapter, Cosmic Sneeze. Confusion on the reader's part and clarity on Rahul's part. Clarity that the book is not going to sell, and readers' confusion that why they have purchased the book, and that continues beautifully.
I think the philosophical undertone starting from the first chapter has been Rahul trying to show that big middle finger to all of us for purchase, and none of us able to recognize it page after page.
A common friend of me and Rahul asked me, can you sum up this? I have just finished the first chapter, Cosmic Sneeze, and can you sum up this for me? I said, if Rahul had written this book in a try catch block, you will keep trying to catch the meaning.
In fact, I replied to one of the persons from community. So Sachin Sharma has already read the book. So somebody in his
Wow,
comment
guy.
for takeaways, what are the key takeaways? So I wrote, believe me, even if he tells you his key takeaways, won't matter at all.
There's a very beautiful thing. Just I was showing this book to somebody. I said I'm going to do a talk on this book. I'm going to talk with 2 of my friends about this, and I showed that person just the book. So the person goes through it and reaches this where all the khand and all the names are written, and this guy is from Jammu. Okay, and reads Aadhar Khand. First, people who don't understand Punjabi and Dogri, Khand is basically unrefined sugar. So then goes to, is this a book about sugar and sugar cane and how to make, sugar out of sugar cane? I said, yes, almost there. It will take all the rust that you have in your life when you go through.
There's one person at least who has spelled it also as a card.
Can't. Most of them are spelling it as can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what Rahul did to us. Can't kar diya hai hamare saath.
You- What are your views on Cosmic Sneeze, JP?
Uh,
How
see,
bad was it?
I would not say it was bad, because see, the remaining chapters, the standard falls so much that you actually start liking the first chapter.
Oh,
So he has set his expectations very low, and then you think that it can't fall further, and it just keeps falling further down. Like, there is actually no rock bottom. That's the beauty about this book.
and by this time you also realize that you've spent 600 odd rupees on this book,
600 odd. Yeah.
and plus some time on it. And this is so much of money that you can't even give this book to a mungfali wala, where the mungfali wala can make the cones out of the paper, because the papers are not, it's not a A4 sheet, at least, where you could have put a lot of mungfali into it.
I think Jose found the best use of this book. Rahul, can you explain how was Jose using this book?
No, it found a good purpose in his home. So there's a table which is being balanced right now. Uh, I hope he also finds that balance in his life with this book.
I think I think you should market this as with those innovative ideas, not as a book,
And
but
yeah, I'm planning to change the product category also, at least in one of the e-commerce platforms. So, and it would sell at a higher cost there.
you could put it under weapons of mass destruction or kitchen utensils. Probably people might find some use out of it.
I won't political here. One was thrown recently.
Only, only the hardcover, not the paper cover.
As in paper.
Paper cover can be used in European winter for warming your bodies by buying them and burning them all, without reading them. That can be a great use. European guys, please listen to me, especially people closer to North Pole. This is a great book. It will not freeze. It will not contain any moisture, and you can use it to warm your bodies, and it will not be very costly for you guys.
Yeah. So coming to this, I know, Rahul, you have a problem with a lot of people in this industry. Although you act like you're friendly and you work for the community, you are insecure about your own abilities, and you have a lot of personal grudges that you're trying to solve here with this book. So coming to that, there's something called the offense cortex, if I get it right. And
Yeah.
there you make a statement giving advanced tools to creatures who mistook sticks for snakes and snakes for gods. Cosmic comedy. So, do you mean testers who are promoting low code, no code platforms as advanced tools to creatures who mistook sticks, etc.? Is that what you mean?
So here's the thing, and it has happened with some readers. So they try to find testing analogies line by line in this book, right?
Hmm.
That what is a mapping to software?
Yeah.
Book. Please don't read this book if you're in that mindset.
I think that should be a tagline. Please don't read this book.
Please don't read this book. Beautiful.
Read this. If you're going to, you see, my actual irritation with the industry is that storytelling in our community is a single slide. You deliver a short story, it's storytelling, and people, clap for that. So this one line to one line analogies have no place in my life. So the background of this. Now let me get serious about it. I was cancelled last year by a group of people on LinkedIn just because of a single post. So this chapter is very personal chapter, and you can see my anger right now. This is my answer to them. That on one side you are these great leaders in the community, you show openness, and on the other side you have such small hearts that even me listing and thanking some people offends you. Then here's my answer.
So for those few people in industry, you tortured the entire community with 260 pages.
Yeah, that's my style. I told you I would roast everybody.
Hey,
So,
you
so, so what you just did is there in that particular chapter where you say it is survival of the whiniest, those who mastered the art of shouting the loudest. I think you just did that.
No. I think testing community has whiniest creatures in the world. We are experts at self-victimization. We always position ourselves as victims. And this is not dying away. At the topmost layers, at the leaders' levels also, this whining is not going away.
Rahul, you are part of this. Don't forget that. You
I-
are the one who first wrote series of blogs explaining different schools of testing, which is hogwash.
Yeah.
So you're part of the problem.
I'm a part of the problem and I'm a part of the joke. There's a saying when you point a finger at somebody, there are three pointing towards you. But I have the audacity to accept that. Do you?
People don't know you can point fingers like this as well.
I'm a part of the problem, but JB, you're a part of the problem too. Ramit, you're a part of the problem too. And
No,
that's
I'm not part of any problem. No,
I'm
no,
not part of any problem.
no, don't get me into it. You have used, see, in this, you used this, we need no creator. See, you have used a hashtag, we need no creator. Why didn't you apply it on yourself?
yeah.
We needed no creator and we didn't needed this book as well.
I'm
So I
making that hashtag in this book.
you made a mockery of the hashtags in this book. I know that.
Mm.
Uh, I'll tell you, JP, when I was reading this offense cortex, when you read this chapter, the North Indian in me realized that you don't need to abuse people all the time, Uh, you can simply insult the people easily with normal words as well. So you can actually insult the people very easily. And I'm thinking of it's a great idea, write a book and insult people with the book. Are you trying to do that? I know you will not try to do that, but then you just said it.
See, insulting is a very strong word.
Okay.
Expressing, see, this book could have been written very seriously.
Okay.
Then, when you read all those complaints, it would be the whiniest book in the world. Because you obviously see that. Satire is a good replacement for, expressing anger, expressing frustration. That's what I've tried to do.
So you yourself said that this book could have been written very seriously. So what went wrong? You could have written the book seriously, and at least we could have got something that we would have been proud to read. And our names are here, JP. Your and my name has been put in the book.
See, that is the biggest problem. For eternity, you and me are going to be linked to something like this. See, have you seen this Mithun Chakrabarti movie called Gunde?
Yes, of course.
Everybody was acted in that movie one way or the other there.
I don't want to be the next Amitabh Bachchan who will say, I'm very ashamed of why I was part of this movie. And our names are not just at one page, they've been used twice.
Twice.
Very
And
subtly.
as characters, and you thought you're paying tribute to us or showing love to us. What was your intent behind that?
I know this day was coming. So it was a defensive measure in the book and now that you are, playing as victims of his book, you two are the ones to whom I reached out with the first draft. You could have stopped me there. But like all dear friends do, go ahead with the book. Yeah. Because you had this roast planned 3 months back. Yeah.
Not really.
People, hold on. For the people who are listening to us, please remember, Rahul is that rare friend who asks you for your opinion, ignores it, does what he wants, and then blames you for not stopping him.
Not stopping him.
It is proved, hence proven. Okay, we told you don't write this book. Then we told you don't publish it. Then we told you don't try to sell it. And you have done everything against us. And now in this podcast, you are blaming us. No. This is not
We
right.
asked you not to come to this podcast also.
Then who would defend the book? Somebody has to fight for this book.
Oh, okay. So now you think you are the sole warrior who is going to save the world from all the.
No, I'm just going trying to save the damn book. But 7 copies sold.
Who told you
It
copies?
doesn't came
Things.
off.
Oh, he's not counting JP, your and my copy.
Okay.
Yours as well, na?
So coming to one khand which is readable, khand, whatever you call it as.
There's a rank. Let's not get there.
So the akar means form, right?
Yes.
Akar means form.
Okay. So this is where you're trying to build some form to this formless thing so far, right?
Yeah.
I understand. So that is one readable handout here because there are actual characters here. At least some people are there. It is not zen and void and Before I get there, two things. Who gave you this absolutely stupid idea of marrying in Mel Brooks and the birth of testing?
2 bottles of single malt.
I mean, and God damn it, it takes a special kind of mental debasement to come up with this kind of a connection with Mel Brooks, the filmmaker, and the underground movement which originated on testing. Seriously, what was going through your mind? And be serious, okay?
Okay. So Mel Brooks has already done the groundwork for me. So it's like, just appreciating his sense of humor. There's an actual movie called History of the World Part 1. There's an actual scene that there's a caveman who creates, this mural on the cave wall. And there's another one which comes and pees on that wall. And the narrator says, and, the first critic was born. So I just took that 1 minute piece and created an alternative history. So my work for this particular chapter was all done and framed before me. So not much.
Oh, that is where the story of Bruck and Zug comes into the picture. Brook or Zug, whatever the way you pronounce them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my creation. But then Mel Brooks has also around, the same thing, I think 10,000-year-old man or something. So there was an inspiration involved. And unlike many in testing community, I give credit where it's due.
So,
JP, if you read that, Bruck and Zuck story, whatever it is, it looks like that, it's the unfinished business that Rahul has from the college. And he couldn't put the guy in college because he didn't want it to lose his attendance marks. So why not write it in a book, get the frustration out as well, and then say, oh, this so and so person has done it in a movie, in a 1 minute shot. And I got inspired by this guy and so and so. I know it was all that you wanted to hit that guy in the college who ran away with every girlfriend that you wanted to have, and now you're trying to show that frustration in the book. Nothing else, You can leave this, gyan to somebody else who doesn't knows you.
Rahul, as a friend, I'll give you only one advice. You have offended almost every segment of the software testing community. Ensure this book doesn't go anywhere near Mel Brooks' family, or they'll shoot. Yeah.
But JP, I have, very good thing to say about Akar. Akar, as you have said, Akar means form, shape, whatever the way, you want to call it. But seriously, Akar, for the people, for our listeners here, Akar is your story. It is my story. It is very close because it is something that is happening every day, every moment around us. People are failing because they are being programmed to fail, isn't it? And this is one khand, this is one part of the book where it is you and me in every aspect. We'll be able to identify ourselves, with different kind of characters here: Vikram, Uma, Jasleen, Yogi, Deb, or you yourself who is listening to it, you will start to recognize that probably you are one of those characters. You might sympathize with the characters, you might cry along with them, you might laugh with them, you might still be frustrated on why you purchased this book, isn't it? Serious, isn't it? Rahul was feeling very happy. Oh, nice, somebody is praising.
This was a
But
yeah, better joke.
So, of all the characters in your book, except for that poor girl, even that poor girl, Meera, why do they curse so much? It's a slugfest of curses.
Well, to be frank, it's very difficult because when I talk my usual speech, I don't use slur words at all.
Mhm.
But I come from a theater background. So you say in Akar Khand you're able to relate to the characters. But while writing this book, I have played each and every character multiple times. So it helped me empathize with what kind of speech. And it is set in Delhi. So you can't have a clean speech there when somebody's frustrated. And in a private setting, it doesn't work that way.
stereotype in Delhi. Stereotype in Delhi. This
Now you have another set of people whom you have offended.
Prime Minister, every damn MP is in that, in that city, and you are, stereotyping. Don't do it to Delhi, please. Delhi is banned. Very clean city. I'm from Delhi.
Yeah.
I will do a mother sister unity of everybody who speaks something about Delhi.
Yeah. So I had to really fight. It's not justice to Delhi slang, but there is a limit till which book could go. Yeah. So some of it still remains.
So, among these characters, which character do you identify the most with?
Kamdevo.
Kamdev.
Oh my. Oh. It's not podcast safe. That's the only character which is not podcast safe. You become that.
Either you have identified with that character because that character is very beautifully crafted, or it is one among the community whom you are trying to highlight using Kamdev. So, you either accept that it is something that you identify, or you name the person whom, or
Desires, hidden desires. Oh no, I never said anything. But before we go into Kamdevo, or I don't know who gave you that idea of giving the character such kind of name, or giving a chapter such kind of name. I want to talk about very serious chapter. A lot of people have actually have spoken to who had the audacity to read the book. They have talked about a particular chapter and they speak highly about that chapter, and that chapter is 15th Mile. Even I think JP, you liked that,
that's
that
probably the only tolerable chapter that I kind of.
because once in a week you lose your senses, and probably that was the time when you were reading 15th Mile, which is okay given. But what do you liked about 15th Mile, JP? Tell me seriously, what do you liked about it?
So, what I liked about the 15th mile is because when you go to the 15th mile, there is a specific ending to that chapter. That chapter ends saying that, okay, since now you are in the 15th mile, this is the next place that you need to go to, which is a typical Rahul style.
Just 16th Mile, isn't it?
Yeah,
From the 14th.
I don't want to break the suspense of the people who will be on, waiting for that suspense to be broken. But so that kind of is who Rahul is like. There is no answers, and I kind of liked how Rahul has ensured that he will be. He said he was cancelled last year. I think he'll be banned for life. Because there are statements being made here. For example, Vikram Tanwar makes a statement. Testing is a disease, Babaji, a virus. It infects every opportunity I've worked for. Now, what did testing do to you that you want your characters to make these kind of statements?
So this was one of the most difficult statements to make in the book. And people don't say it out loud, but especially in mid-career zone, people feel they start talking against testing, they jump ships. In this, the character says it, but people are acting on it. They become scrum masters, product manager, move to DevOps without saying this thing. So they run away from testing as if it is a disease. So now the thing is that some people have asked me, like you also, why this kind of a book? You tell me any other form of testing literature, talk, writing, LinkedIn, where this statement could be made apart from when one is writing fiction,
Very strong.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
The moment I got this idea, because I'm not a novelist, I had to take a lot of help from ChatGPT. I did a lot of learning. This is the sixth, seventh iteration of the book, the final form. It was never supposed to be a fiction. But I realized that if I want to express in honesty the things which community goes through from different angles, if we write a book, right, it's from one perspective. If we want to talk from different perspectives, show their vulnerabilities, it had to be a fiction. And Vikram is the most vulnerable character in this novel. He was a side character. When I started writing this book, he didn't have this much real estate, but the character became so strong. I used to cry myself when I wrote this character. So these statement is a strong statement, and it
And we
hurt.
cried. We kind of cried, but throughout the
This
book, not
hurts
at all.
me every time about the state of testing in the world. So it
You
was a
know,
difficult.
you talk to people about 15th Mile, and people liking 15th Mile as a chapter tells you
Yeah.
that very seriously that Stockholm syndrome works in literature too. You know, very very strong chapter. Okay. The author is talking so passionately about 15th Mile, but my question is why 15th Mile? Why it couldn't have been 17th Mile or 13th Mile? Why? What's the obsession with 15th Mile here?
It's a like we talk about
It's
Melrose.
not I was not expecting an answer on this.
No, there's an
Yeah,
answer. There's a good
no, no,
answer, informed
no,
answer.
okay, okay. Tell me. We will
Uh,
continue.
okay.
Go
So
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I want to say this because I like Shilal Shukla as an author.
Okay.
I think Sir Rag Darbari is the best piece of satire ever written. I read a lot of satire, a lot of humor. There's nothing like that book. So when his book starts, it starts in Shivpalganj,
Okay.
and that spot where the truck is and where the protagonist arrives, that's 15th mile. So
Okay.
this chapter is my homage to Srila Shukla. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
is there any original idea of yours anywhere in the book you're following and quote?
No, on a serious note, I don't believe there is anything called original idea. Whatever ideas are there, they're scattered around us. We are just rearranging them. Just like poetry. Whatever poetry had to be done is already done. We just keep rearranging its words.
All the tests have been done in the world. Why are there testers in the world?
Good question.
Don't think you are also going to write a book, JP. One was enough.
I'm
I
getting
just have to I just have to find a way of rearranging things from now on.
But Rahul said a very interesting thing, while he was so passionately giving this answer. I really like Srilal Shukla as a writer. He's a wonderful writer. I wish someday some people also talk about you, Rahul, that I like Rahul as a writer. I wish that. I pray for it. And generally, when I'm not serious about my prayers, God has never listened to me, so I don't know how it will turn around. But
I
now
know
I get
I'm on my own. I know very well.
everyone. Everyone. Don't worry about it. Everyone on your own. So that's okay. 15th mile, sometimes because people have spoken a lot about it, I will, end this statement on 15th mile, and I'll then just, zip myself on 15th mile. It's, 15th mile as a chapter it's like, it preaches you like a modern, spiritual guru. Sounds profound until you realize that even the stack trace that you have used doesn't know what's going on. That's what 15th mile is. So good luck to the people who have liked it. That is, I don't have anything else to say about 15th
Uh,
mile.
I think primarily it is the frustration that Rahul has over the years, although he says he's a student of testing, he's an advocate of testing, he's a spokesperson for testing, he fundamentally hates testing because one way or the other, he's slipping in absolute abuses towards testing. So you go to another chapter, the party. There's a statement made by Joy. As Gandhi said, testers are like janitors. Okay? Is that a statement made in your book?
Yes.
Yes. And then he again repeats, you're not like janitors. Janitors clean up messes. You're janitors with a vendetta. You don't sweep it away. You shove it in our faces. You watch us trip over it. That's badass. You're janitors with the superpower of justification. You justify your job every damn day, day after day.
Joy says that.
Yeah. So
You mean to say the character is saying it? You have not said it. Nice. You're shifting the blame on a character now, a fictional character.
Joy is the writer in the book. I'm just notes.
Joy said it. My dear readers, I am just the author, but it's a fictional character who has said it. I have not said anything. So don't, hit me when you meet me.
and the hit gets so bad. You are like Batman without a budget. Garibon ka Batman. What the hell is wrong with
Remove Batman.
You're a Batman without a bat.
And after this, you actually expect the testing community to respect you, to listen to you. Thank God nobody has read this book.
7 odd people.
7 odd people.
7. Yeah.
And after this podcast, I hope a lot of people understand for whom you really are. Then comes a very, good, Ramit.
No, I was talking about, which Gandhi are you referring to here? As Gandhi said, testers are like janitors. You have to be very specific. You keep saying, go back to basics. You need to be very,
You need to be precise.
you have to be precise. And you simply say, as Gandhi said, testers are like, which Gandhi are you referring to? Don't
I'm not
try
referring to anything. Joy is a developer. He's saying all those things. Ask him.
Now you want us to, get the fictional character out of it. And,
That's what I did.
and see, so smartly, the character's name is Joy. As if there is something happy about this guy. And he's saying testing is like, doing the work of janitors. No wonder the bias towards the development is very evident here.
So basically, he is using his own alter ego, which is Joy, as a developer to bash testers, and then say, "I don't have anything to do with it."
The problem
Because fundamentally, see, the problem. No, wait, Rahul. Let me complete this. Fundamentally, Rahul thinks he is a good developer who, unfortunately, fell down into testing. See, the first things that he wrote about was on Python and automation. So he has never identified with testing. And that is actually coming out through this book saying that तुम लोग गरीबों का बैटमैन हो, मैं actual वाला बैटमैन हूँ.
Acha, there is, very nice thing, there is, in the same chapter party, there's a place where Debo says, because now that, Rahul has not said anything, it is Joy, and now obviously Debo has said it. My managers got my back. And then there is a shape. I have still to figure out, what that shape is. Looks like a bum, but that's okay. And I love it. Hashtag corporate zen, hashtag kebab goals, hashtag layoff luxury. If you look at, all these hashtags, and if these hashtags were actual achievement, Rahul would have won, a Nobel Prize in deep thoughts no one asked for.
But what is that symbol after my managers got the back? Is it a mango? Is it a ball? What was that?
See, you can check it out. This was, if you go to party, Rahul, you can also open your own book.
Page 157.
Says
Page
that.
number 57.
157.
Page number 57. My managers got my back. If you had spent 80,000 rupees on this book, Rahul, I have a very serious question. You could have spent, probably 2,000 extra, and you would have got these pictures at least colored so that we would have differentiated between what this, image is. Look at it. page number 157, my managers got my back. And then there is a emoji. Is that an emoji of what? A mango or something else?
I wish that could happen. So these are technicalities of publication. So
That's okay. Tell me what that emoji is all about.
ask Devraj.
See,
Huh?
Rahul starts the book with the whole concept of plausible deniability. And that's the exact defense that you're taking now.
I was truthful about it. At least I'm being honest.
Just because you murder somebody and you're truthful about it, it doesn't mean that you have not committed the crime.
It's like saying, I'm very sorry, and then moving just here and say,
So here comes the next one, which is a chapter I actually liked. And you know why I actually liked it?
Which chapter?
So this comes to crack, and what is the next chapter after crack? Yeah, it's
Mirage and the crack.
Yeah, it's Mirage and the crack.
You like that?
The Mirage and the crack.
I liked it. Seriously.
Huh?
You liked it.
You know why I liked it? I'll tell
Okay.
you why I liked it. Rahul is a guy who has made his name, a naam shohrat, in conferences. And then what does he do? He goes and backstabs conferences. Okay. Now, if you had such a big problem with conferences, why do you go to conferences and speak?
If I don't go, how do I find content for this chapter? The notes are exact. They are so precise about the details of the carpet, the chair arrangement, the stage. How do we get those details if you're not
Exactly? Except for the content that goes on.
I know the answer of this question. I'm going to ask a question to Rahul. I know the answer of this question. Rahul, what is the most exciting thing about conferences?
Food.
And then this is the same guy who talks about how the chairs were laid, how the tables were there. This guy is the first thing that he does is, he takes the round of, the food table of what dishes we are going to serve, then goes for a sutta break, comes back, checks at 9:30 in the morning while there is a lamp lighting going on. This guy keeps checking, there's no breakfast here today. In one of the conferences, I'm not joking, and this is for our listeners as well. Me and Rahul met in Bangalore for a conference, and this guy gives me a hug. I don't know why people hug me. I hate it, but then you cannot refuse to some people who are going.
English hug, right?
Uh-huh.
The English hug, right?
English hug, yes, of course. Hindi hug has already been done in the book. So this guy gives me a hug, and the first thing he tells me is, "Let's go to the breakfast," and then takes me to a nice breakfast. And now I'm wondering who is going to pay for it. And then there's another friend of ours who drinks his scotch with hot water, comes in and says, "Let's have breakfast together." And now poor Rahul has to pay for 3 people instead of 1. From that day onwards, he has never hugged anybody else on a conference.
So Rahul, I'm sure, because in this particular chapter, you see the kind of talks that's being given in a testing conference. So there is a session on what Pottery taught me about testing, and then why testing is like gardening, nurturing quality from soil up, and then AI in testing. And then there's a whole conversation around how people make statements. For example, people say things, it's a mindset and attitude, strategy, paradigm shift, etc. So which conference are you talking about here?
All of them.
I mean, all of the testing conferences are like this. They talk about absolute hogwash.
Yes.
Each one of the conferences.
Yes.
And each one of the talks?
No. These are the best ones.
Except Rahul's talks.
Except for his talks, everything else is
Except
fine.
for his own talks. Rest everything, is.
You see,
So
I am the
Oh,
best one. I can't do this.
okay.
eko aham
So,
dvitiyo nasti.
Hmm.
so, so I want to ask you, and I know the answer again. How many such people have you listened sitting there? How many such presentations have you listened on your own? You were sitting among the audience and you were listening to them.
I stopped listening to them. I'm hardly found in the. I just see the title. I know what's going to happen.
Oh, Baba.
He was bad. I left that. Whenever I see such a title, I don't sit in the room.
He is he knows everything. That's
Can
the.
you can you give an example from a recent conference, one title which you didn't
I'll give you
attend?
an actual example. So I was on my weight loss journey, and I joked to somebody in a conference that next year, because five, six such titles were already there, so I joked about it that next time I would bring a topic. What did I learn about testing from my weight loss journey? It was a joke. 5 months later, what I see is that there's another person giving this talk. What did I learn about testing from my weight loss journey? You know, these are no more jokes. We are
I'm,
finding random objects, comparing testing with it all the time.
right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that talk would have been judged as the best talk of the conference, right?
Yeah, yeah. And see, first of all, judging is a different thing. You have to get the talk selected. If you submit a talk which sounds this way, it always gets selected. What did I learn about testing from X? Just fill this template, submit the talk. Your talk goes through. That's what I'm talking about.
So, all the viewers, this is the secret recipe that gets you selected to conferences. Rahul has used this and perfected it over the years. I'm sure nobody else can give that.
Yes.
Okay, I think
On that note, please go ahead and present a talk. What did I learn about testing from doing testing? That's the talk I would wait for.
Everything was going fine until you said it.
Yeah.
Everything was going fine. This was the first time we were serious about it. And then you had to emphasize again, please go there, do this, do that. Why you do it to everybody, huh? People were actually sympathizing with you, and
yeah,
this is what you do.
that's he has learned this trick. He's perfected it over the years.
For for once I agree with Rahul on conferences space, that when somebody presents something and how much shitty the content is, and how much boring the presentation was, people say so many congratulations to these people. Rahul would have got such kind of congratulations a lot, in conferences as well. Believe me, I have seen lesser people in my relations fake such congratulations when my daughter was born.
Yeah.
People go like, first time we have heard about it, this is, we have never heard about it. And what the person presented, um, how cooking is like creating a CI/CD pipeline, and then the way the cooking sucks is the same way their CI/CD pipelines break without any explanation, which is another thing. But then you can see conferences people go and talk about.
So,
uh,
so the most fun part of the
I'll
conference.
tell you, you are right about one thing, Rahul, where I don't know why I have to agree with you that, food is the best thing, when it comes to conferences. Only if the conference is happening at a good place. If it is happening not a so good place, then probably even that is not,
Only 4 star above is where I target these days. Anything to 4 star. Because last year I was put through such a torture in one of the testing conferences. So there's the most fun part of a conference is panel discussion, because you need to fit in all your sponsors and all. So you bring them as panelists, or people whom you want to sell to in the future brought in as panelists, and they have no idea what's happening. So everybody comes with their own preconceived what is to be said in a panel. The question and the answer will have no connection. They will come and say what they want, and then there will be a moderator who is so insecure about herself or himself that they will try to take over. So 80% will be by the moderator. So last year I was attending this one panel discussion which is on some AI and testing, because that's the thing. Everybody will talk about only AI and testing. So there, the moderator, forget AI and testing, went up all the way to artificial super intelligence, ASI, because probably that's the research they would have done on the internet and everything. Was they were talking about singularity and the power of one, etc.
I know, JP, surprisingly, I know an author like that as well.
Yeah.
Started with something in the book and then, reached somewhere else in the book. So, that happens with a lot of people. You cannot do anything about it.
I often keep repeating this quotation because it's one of the books I really like, which is Alice in the Wonderland. So Alice falls down the rabbit hole and she lands in the Wonderland. She meets I forget the name of the character. It's not a rabbit. It's somebody else. So she meets and she asks this question: which is the way to go? And the character answers back saying, "Where do you want to go?" She says, "I don't know." And it says, if you don't know where you want to go, then it's like Rahul writing a book. Anyway, looks right.
I know, while you are talking about, nowhere, where you don't have any idea of where you are going, a lot of people, surprisingly, jokes about that, there are only 9 books and all that they have been sold. Actually, there are much more than 9 books. There are actually 11 books which have been sold. But I was talking to a person who liked a character in the book. That book character is Vikram. A lot of people, to please Rahul, said, we have cried reading this character. And, Rahul felt very happy. He called me up and said, this person called me and said, I cried while reading this Vikram character. So I had to read Vikram again to see actually Vikram is actually worth it or not. And believe me, I personally didn't like Vikram. He's a kind of character. Now that the blame is going on the characters, at it's like that test repository or that test suite that that at the crunch time, don't those tests will ghost like those flaky test cases. They will show up late. This guy will show up not at the crunch time, but much later, doing a emotional retrospective with you, telling you, I am with you and all that. But when the person is really needed, that person will just stay zip. I personally didn't like Vikram, but I hear that a lot of people have liked Vikram. What do you say, Rahul? Have you personally liked writing Vikram? Now
I,
that
I most enjoyed writing all the characters. There were some characters which
you had, but
I didn't enjoy writing, they didn't make it to the book. Right? So, but there's an observation, there's a serious observation, and you are the only person from India who's not associating with Vikram. This is usually feedback from outside India. Like in Germany, there are two readers who have read the book who talked to me and gave feedback.
oh, you want to
You
say?
actually had two readers in Germany, is it?
Uh, Actually, he wants to, subtly say that they are international readers. You gifted them the book, isn't it? You kidnapped them, put them in your flat, put a gun on them and told them to read them. And now you're okay. Anyways.
So coming to the reason there are different characters in this book is different people relate to different things. One of that part is our culture. Yeah. So from India, whosoever has talked about the book has definitely talked about 15th Mile, and that they are able to associate with Vikram more than Meera, who's the protagonist. And in Germany, both feedbacks were about Meera, which they associated with it, and Vikram they found too negative a character, emotionally, weak character. So,
Oh, that means I'm a European, huh?
what feat?
I'm Indian. Vikram is like, a guy who will come and tell you, after 15 years, after once you have left the company, 15th mile since we are talking about. So somebody fires you, and then that guy meets you, 10 years down the line and says, you are much more important. You are much more than a resource. You are a better resource. And that day hit this guy, what you would have wanted to do 10 years back.
Yeah.
I personally didn't
But
like.
but it's very very eye opening, Rahul. The confidence which you can lie and say that people associated with Vikram and Amira and you can do that very very convincingly. I like that about you.
Everyone has got a skill.
See, it's like this, Rahul uses, and it has been, he has used it very generously throughout the book, a lot of hashtags. So, for example, if I ask you what is shift left, shift left. So, a lot of you probably will think of, agile or, something else. You don't understand when Rahul reads shift left, it's like the emotional reset that he has to go through. Shift left. So probably when he was, writing Vikram, it would have gone through a lot of shift lefts, and that's why you want some people to hate Vikram, some people to love Vikram. We are not talking about which love story Vikram is associated with in your life, but we will leave it there probably.
Both me and Ramit, we could not have the heart to read the book the third time. We had done a review, and when the book came, we thought something would have changed by magic. That didn't happen. And then finally, for this podcast, we had to read it again. Imagine what we went through. Around the second khand is where I lost it completely. I didn't make it to the 16th mile. Somewhere on the 14 and a half mile, my soul dropped dead. Coming to the last khand, apparently that is Rahul's masterpiece, like Vincent van Gogh introducing his most favorite painting. Let me ask Rahul himself to speak. Obviously, he's going to speak very high about the last khand, which is what was it called? What was the last khand called as?
Ahar Khand.
Ahar khand. So it has to do with food, right?
Yes, yes. It's
So
about food.
is it about the food that you get in conferences or is general food that we're talking about?
I think it was a good follow up to the conference chapter because it comes immediately after.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So what is this Ahar khand all about?
So, as an author, first of all, it was the most difficult chapter for for writing for me as well because इसका सर पैर कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा था.
You are saying as if आपको बाकी पूरी बुक का सर पर समझ में आ गया.
मतलब in आहार खंड you have the sir and आकार you have the पैर. यहाँ तक आते तक कुछ नहीं बचा. So on a serious note, it's AI themed chapter, AI themed khand. So you would see people talking in favor of AI and AGI coming, and there are people in our community also. Most of the leaders, they are talking against AI. So I try to imagine an AI world. It is set in 2064. So it's a future-oriented chapter where it starts. I wanted to write a khand on humanity. The irony which I could form in my mind is that how about AI is talking about humanity? And Ahar is, of course, the completion of the loop. And uh, just go ahead and read it, give it a chance. But as an author, what I acknowledge is that by the time Akar Khand ends, you would be out of patience. So there are very less people who are going to read Akar Khand. So that's where I stopped educating reader. There are code
So
talk.
far, you are educating the reader, is it?
Yeah, I don't give hints at all. In Akar Khand, I go into my final original form. You're on your own. You have to really apply your thinking to understand what is happening. So,
it
yeah.
is it a serious try that you have done that make your readers so confused that they will take this book as a masterpiece? Was it deliberate attempt for you to write it so confusing that even when we are asking you to explain it, you are not able to, you are fumbling yourself as an author?
No, I don't want to give you spoilers.
But there are no spoilers, it's all spoiled already.
So you offended the testing community. You had an alter ego from the dev community, abused them also. And here now, what you have something called the division manifesto here. And with this, are you? So I'll just read one line out of it. Okay, so let me start from the beginning. The Division Manifesto. We are advancing humanity by ensuring no one ever agrees on anything again. Through this vision, we have come to value artificial individuality over inconvenient singularity. Now, and it continues. The blabbering continues. So, with all of this, I'm sure you are hitting out even against the founding fathers of the agile movement. So, you don't want any supporters anywhere in this universe?
Short answer, no.
Okay. So I planning to change your career after this. You actually thought you will become an author, and then I will become a literary superstar and away from
I
the
thought
software industry.
I thought it's my exit plan, but 9 books sold.
So I'll I'll tell you, this is very interesting. Artificial individual, what is that called? Read it for me. Our something singularity, algorithmic something on some compatibility, hesitation on uncertainty. Uh, had you met Shashi Tharoor somewhere and you touched his feet and he gave you Ashirwad before you started writing this chapter? Because suddenly your English is gone, I had to take my dictionary out and I had to read,
I think
and
that's an insult to Tharoor. Even though he uses complicated words, usually his sentences make a lot of sense. That is
yes.
not the case here.
So that's why I said he only gave the Ashirwad, he didn't touch his head. He only touched the top of, he just touched the hair a little, and that is where, it just remained there. What is this division manifesto? What do you wanted to say?
Oh,
Oh,
spoiler.
give me an answer. Why you told this guy to give the. It's very serious. We don't want to listen. We are done. We are fed up with this. Okay. No, actually, no, Baba, we don't need the answer. You call it division manifesto, you call it addition manifesto, you call it subtraction manifesto. Who gives the okay?
So here you talk about hitting the 68th percentile, okay, and you say because mediocrity is a shared responsibility. Was it hitting out against others in the community, or was it a self-critique?
Let's
Because
keep it
mediocrity is
honest.
not something that I would associate with you after the book. Before the book, yes, mediocrity was where I was associating with you. But now after the book, that's not where I placed you. It's way below that.
So I'm irritated with the statement which people love to quote and throw around randomly.
Hmm?
Quality is everybody's responsibility. So I played on that. Mediocrity is a shared responsibility because that's what we are spreading in the name of, these pseudo intellectual statements around. So
Is there any pseudo intellectual you have in mind?
there are a lot. There are a lot of them.
Do you regard yourself as one among them?
Names, right? So let's keep it that way.
But do you regard yourself as one among them?
Everybody, you too,
I'm
me.
not an intellectual. I'm not an intellectual. I don't count me in your.
I am from Delhi. Okay. If you dare to call me pseudo intellectual, then you know I have the choicest of the words for you. Don't even dare. And I don't live in Bangalore anymore. So I don't have to keep I don't have to put a mask of, Bangalore language on me. I don't speak Kannada, but I speak Punjabi very well, and you know that.
Yeah.
Hmm. But we are already taking too much of time. There is one place where I really want to congratulate you, Rahul, on one of the chapters, and that chapter is Tandav. Oh, what a masterpiece this is! Actually, when you read Tandav, you understand how Lotus is born in, even in the filthiest of the places, and Tandav is that one chapter which, is that Lotus in this book. Who helped you in writing Tandav? Tell me
Or
seriously.
did you copy? Anything? Anyway, you don't have original ideas, right?
From Chat GPT, you mean?
ChatGPT cannot write,
Yeah,
that.
it can't write Sandav.
It
It
can't
can't write.
write Tandav. So for the people who are listening to us, for me, Tandav is the deepest chapter for me from this book. Tandav is a chapter where it feels like a race condition in the universe. Everything seems to be out of sync. Everything seems to be uh, overlapping. Everything seems to be wild, but something, the final state is that divine perfection. It's like, Shiva himself has committed to the prod, and the reality has to accept it. There is nothing else that you can do. Tandav, for me, isn't just a chapter. I think it is Rahul's inner Natraj doing performance testing on your soul. It is as if, Shiva himself has half closed the eyes and is judging you lovingly when you read the chapter.
Or it might be all the pent up frustrations of Rahul coming out in this
Coming
format.
out in this form. But it's a beautiful chapter. It's like, you're listening to a symphony, or if you're used to classical Indian music, it's like, it starts very slow, then builds up a crescendo, and, finally ends on very high note, as if you are in a euphoric state. It's so beautiful. I didn't wanted to praise you, Rahul, but I got the message on my phone that you transferred the money. Uh, it's beautiful. If you keep sending me more money, I'll keep praising. It's only three messages right now. So I have said three things about, Tandav. One more.
More, because three more chapters.
Because that's, but believe me, for the people who are reading this, Tandav means cosmic dance. For the people who are associated with Shiva or associated with Hindu mythology, little will understand that Tandav is a very, very strong word. And Tandav for your book is like reaching production with zero bugs. Nobody knows how it happened. Okay, but it happened. So for me, Tandav is the highlight, and I wonder, why this chapter is right at the end. Because if it was the right towards the start of the book, you would have saved me, 3-4 hours of, wasting my time reading everything else. But Tandav is a masterpiece. I don't know where you copied it from, where you have stolen it from, how many murders you did, how many people you killed. And it's like, when the Taj Mahal was built, it is said that, the emperor cut off the hands of all those people who, built Taj Mahal. Whether it is true or not, but I think after Tandav, you would have murdered the guy who would have ghost. It's a beautiful chapter. What prompted you? But don't answer. Seriously. It's a beautiful chapter. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Let me not
So
explanation.
It's a very epic climax of, your book. Whatever your book is, I have lost all the adjectives and adverbs now, but whatever your book is, Tandav is a masterpiece. If you would have only written those 5, 6 pages, 10 pages, and you would have done, I would have, I would have still hugged you in this conference. But uh, how
now
you were able to read it? Because I know you are not into mythology a lot. This is a serious question now. I want you to answer it. I'm very serious.
Shiva was supposed to be the narrator of this book.
Who?
Shiva,
Okay.
originally. So you also, asked where was Jharkhand born?
Mhm.
So it had its roots in our Hindu mythology. That's how it began. But then I thought that, some because of the language which is there in the books, in the book, because of some themes I capture, some people, rather than looking at what is being said, we are sensitive towards our gods. So I decided that I would not use any of our, revered god names. I wanted to respect at that point, right? And that's why wherever any spiritual references are there, you would see that I don't even mention the word Upanishad, Veda. Even the books' names are not mentioned because I wanted to clearly draw a line between religion and spiritual. Can't do religious humor, but I can do spiritual humor, and people would be more accepting for that. So I'm actually amazed. The Tandav, word is still there, but you are able to feel Shiva's energy. I feel happy about that. because that was the only way to end this book. Otherwise, it would have continued to those 10,000 pages. Yeah.
The torture would have continued, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll have to thank Shiva for it, that Tandav finally happened.
Yeah. Really thankful.
What about the Tandav that happened in our minds, right? Reading the book. What about that? Who is going to apologize for that?
Yeah.
So Rahul, is there a second last book on testing coming?
I had planned the
Can I beg you
title.
before that? Can I beg you before that?
Yeah, it's a math joke.
Pardon me?
See, the second last book. Try to understand this joke. You apply.
Yeah,
we,
we are not intellectual.
we are fools anyways,
Yeah,
you have already proven it multiple times,
yeah.
Yeah. Tell us the joke. Tell us the joke. And it's, at the end so that we can laugh at your joke,
Okay, let's try.
Oh no, it was ugly. I told you you do only this when the joke has finished. Okay, anyways, go ahead.
So, if there is a second last book on testing, it should have come before the last book on testing.
Yes.
Then the last book on testing would be the third last book on testing. So,
That's when you apply logic. I think logic and you had nothing to do with each other, right?
Somebody asked me, what are your thoughts on this book? Somebody seriously asked me, Rahul is a great friend of yours. So there was this trainers conference, mini conference, which was going on. And somebody asked me there, what is your views? Your name is also there. Rahul was speaking a lot about you that, I helped Rahul, first of all, people associating me with the book itself is a dangerous thing because, when Rahul is killed, I'll be killed too. But I can take that risk. So this person asked me, what is your, view if you have to summarize everything in one line? I said, this will be Rahul's most successful failure in his life.
So,
See, this is a joke, Rahul. See, you smiled. JP laughed. This is how you tell a joke. You don't have to explain a joke. You don't have to do this.
And then you count from backward and they say, remember this.
2, 3, this will be second last, then it will be third last. No. That's not the joke. Anyways.
So Rahul successfully offended your community, you successfully offended the agile community, you successfully offended any friends that you had. And a lot of people used to look up to you, thinking he's an intellectual. That lays exposed now. What next in life?
not a book on testing. This is the last book on testing.
So you're going to continue writing books?
Yeah, there's one already in works. So it's a political satire.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm done offending the testing community. I'll go offend somebody else now.
Oh, you think this book is on testing?
At least, so you see, whenever we see the word testing, हम ठेका ले लेते हैं कि अरे टेस्टिंग की बात ऐसे कैसे होती है. So from that perspective, yes, it's our community's book.
No, but as you know, as a closing statement from my side about the book, I still think it's not a serious software testing book. It's a cosmic accident, that landed in the testing aisle by mistake. This thing, I'm very serious about it. I think this book belongs to poetry. This book belongs to philosophy. This book belongs to an undefined genius. Please don't call it testing book. People have already blamed testers on a lot of things. Don't blame this book on us.
And I get the joke, and the honesty part is here that on Amazon, it is not categorized under testing books.
Is it categorized under books?
Yes. Now, but it is categorized very, very clearly under literature and satire. It's not categorized under testing book. So that should give people a hint.
That's another community you're going to offend, literature.
Yep.
So now you literature work.
Okay. But jokes apart,
to wake up, time to get out of your sleep.
Jokes apart, I think everybody who is watching this podcast, I think there will be hardly few, but whoever is watching this podcast should buy this book. Because, see, why should we alone go through this?
Yeah.
The pain should be shared by the community as such. And Rahul has tried to really bring out his pain against a lot of people, against a lot of systems. So he thinks he's like this activist who is speaking against the system from within the system in a system that he himself created. So I think all of you should read this book. You will either like it or you will hate it or you'll burn it. One of those three things are going to happen. So do read this book for sure.
Yes. He is trying to be a Bhagat Singh, where no independence movement ever wanted this kind of Bhagat Singh. But that is good, he has done, on a serious note, end of the day, if you read the book, it's a good book to read. As Rahul has already said, it is not into a testing category on Amazon. It is into some category that, Rahul wants to see it. It doesn't fit into any category. And very seriously, that makes, this book bigger than all of them. There's no doubt about it. It's a wonderful book. It's a book not just for the software testers or software developers or per se software community. This is a wonderful book to read. Uh, I personally think that this book will become that kind of masterpiece that people will recognize probably 20, 30 years down the line, and will say, wow, somebody has written such kind of stuff 20 years back. That
So it
was
will become like an Andaz Apna Apna, which flopped in this
yes.
duration, but later on, with more evolved humans come along the way and they're able to understand what's happening here.
Lot of such examples. Andaz Apna Apna or Lamhe, a lot of such, work that has been done. For that matter, Kitne Pakistan, or a book like, Sri Lal Shukl's book, Rag Darbari, where people understood the book after many, many years, and then it became a masterpiece. So that is where I see this book happening. All the best, Rahul. You have done a wonderful work. Don't torture us next time when you write a book and ask us to review it. We don't want to go through the pain again. We are already, JP has already gone through an ICU. I don't want to go to an ICU. My kids are still very, young. JP's kids are still grown up. They will remember daddy and papa, and well, my kid is too young to remember me. So don't let me go through the pain again with that. Best wishes from my side. Wish you all the good luck, and don't go crazy like you had gone crazy the first time. You're writing the book for your second book. All my best wishes, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
So everyone, we could do this only because it was Rahul. Anybody else, you would have broken through the screen and tried to get us through by the throat. But understand, Rahul also is a host on this show. Anybody who wants to get roasted like this, not only roasted, who wants to have a discussion in a semi-serious note, or if there are any specific topics within the testing, development, DevOps, because we are masters of all, so we know everything. As I told you, there is no topic right from nuclear fission all the way up to sanitary hygiene that we cannot talk about. So if there are specific topics that you want us to discuss, there are specific posts, etc., that you want us to discuss, please let us know. We will hopefully come back soon, and we will probably have more views than the number of copies that Rahul has sold. So thank you so much, Rahul, and that's it from me.
Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Namaskar, everyone.